Welcome to my next video. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about torque wrenches, and if you're a shade tree mechanic, work on your own equipment, it's imperative that you have a torque wrench. Most nuts and bolts on cars and lawnmowers and things like that have a torque specification, which means how tight you tighten the bolt on. And so if you're doing your own work, I highly recommend you getting a torque wrench. That way you don't accidentally break a bolt off or strip anything off. This is the torque wrench I use for most of my automobile repair, and it is, I don't know where I got it. I think I may have gotten it from Amazon, but it goes up to 150 foot-pounds of torque. And so what happens is when you put a socket on your, let me see if this will fit. When you put a socket on your wrench and you tighten it down, you go by manufacturer specifications on how tight that bolt needs to be. And so when you tighten it, once you reach that, you tighten it slowly, and once you reach that amount of torque, the wrench will actually pop, it'll click. So you know that you've torqued it to the right. You haven't put too much torque on it, and it stops, so you can't tighten it any tighter. And so you need to make sure you add this to your toolkit or your toolbox in your case. Now this one does foot-pounds, and I think, let me get my spectacles on. This goes from 10 foot-pounds up to 150 foot-pounds. So for most larger bolts on your car, this will work well. If you have working on a lawnmower or some of the smaller bolts on your car, they will go for inch-pounds. And what I did, I needed one here to do some work on my car recently, and I needed to do it at, I believe it was, I'm trying to think what it was. It was, I think it was 18 inch-pounds. I think it was, maybe 20 inch-pounds. So I picked this little torque wrench up. I got it from off Amazon, and I think it was like $35. And it's made by a company called ANPUOS. I don't know who they are, but it's worked well for the couple little times I needed to use it. And when you set your torque wrench, what you do is, on this particular one, you pull this little sleeve back and you tighten it like you would a nut until the you can see this or not, but until the numbers line up to the right amount of inch-pounds you need to do it. And when you're through, you loosen it back up, because you don't want to have all the springs being tight. It'll kind of screw it up over time. So, and most manufacturers recommend that you recalibrate your torque wrench every year. And I looked online, and I've only used mine a couple times. I don't do a lot of heavy work on my car, but to have a torque wrench recalibrated is $50 to $100 for most torque wrenches. And since my wrenches, I spent one of them, I think it was $35, $40. It's really not worth it to calibrate it every year. I only use it a couple times. I'm not really worried that much about it. But if you're using it in a commercial environment, you want to make sure you recalibrate your torque wrenches every year. Another word of wisdom: when you take your cars and get new tires, you notice they have these air impact wrenches that they take the bolts off, the lug nuts off of your wheels. So they pull the tires off. And when they put it back on, they use that same air wrench to tighten it up. Now they're supposed to set those wrenches to the right torque of the manufacturers. You have a good mechanic if they use a manual torque wrench and torque all your lug nuts properly. And that way you don't, if you tighten your bolts up too much on your tires, on your wheels, it could actually bend your rotor, which causes your, if you put your foot on the brakes, your tires start shaking like that. So if you can find a good tire mechanic that uses a manual torque wrench, you found a gem, and I would stick with them. That's my spill for torque wrenches today. I was using it today working on my lawnmower, and I thought I'd do a quick video to tell you my impressions of torque wrenches and how you need to make sure you have one in your toolbox if you're doing your own mechanics. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I hope you have a great day. Thanks for watching.